let me introduce our good friend and TikToker, DaniellesGames. Say hello to the people, DaniellesGames.
Hi, across the pond indeed. Very far across the pond, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm actually pleased and surprised, I should say, that our connection is going so well. We had some connections issues with a guest recently that's actually in the States with us, so I was a little concerned, but you're coming through loud and clear. You sound great.
Oh, good English connection.
That's right, good English connection. Now, I know you said you're feeling a little under the weather, but don't worry, we will take it easy on you today. How has your week been otherwise?
Yeah, good, thank you. Not much has been going on, to be honest. Yeah, I do have a stinking cold, but as I said earlier on, I think everyone has a stinking cold at the minute.
True story.
There's definitely something in the air, 100%.
Yeah.
Not COVID, though.
Something like plague times, for sure. Right. Well, we noticed you on TikTok, and we noticed you noticing us, and then we noticed you noticed us noticing you, and we're friends, and I gotta say, I love your channel. So,
thank you.
For those unfamiliar, DaniellesGames, you have a massive collection, like a very impressive collection. And so I wanted to kind of dive into that. I mean, I've noticed that a lot of people are like, okay, but do you have this game? And you just produce it. Like, how many games would you say you have in your collection?
See, I need to actually take the time. I've seen a lot of people, you know how they record it on the app and actually take note of what they have. I have like doubles of so many games because I forget that I own them, and I'll see them and go, oh my god, I must buy it, and then I come home and go, oh, I already got
it. Yeah, that's a bit of a first world problem, but I totally have that too.
Right.
I totally like both of us do because we're collectors. I will actually put you onto an app that will scan barcodes, so that way you can bring the information in quickly. Yeah, we'll talk offline about it. But yeah, let me ask you this then. Being that your collection is just uncountable at this point, when did you start collecting?
I think this is one thing that we haven't covered, so I think this might actually surprise you of how old I am.
Okay.
A lot of people seem to think that I am older because of my passion for retro gaming, but my first console that I actually had was the PS1. When I was younger, and this still kills me to the day, I wish I could time travel and just slap myself. So when I had my PS1 when I was younger, I threw away all of the cases so that I could put the discs in a disc holder, and I threw away the cases, and I'm talking like 200 games.
Blasphemer.
Yeah. So that's where it kind of started. So me and my brother, because he's just as much of a gamer as I am, that was pretty much our childhood. And then when I became an adult and actually had access to adult money, I was like, whoa.
Game changer.
Yeah, so probably about, I want to say 6 years now. On the weekends and stuff, I will go to, I think you guys call it swap meets, but we call it car boots.
Car boots, okay.
Yeah, car boot sales. So I'll go to car boot sales, charity shops, and just pretty much buy whatever I see. Looking at it now, I want to say about maybe 4,000 games.
Wow, that's impressive. That's impressive.
Maybe.
I would say the American analog for car boot is probably garage sale. We do have swap meets, but it sounds like, I mean, is it like,
weird?
Is it a community, or is it like a storefront, or is it people's houses? Like, what would a car boot be?
So it's like a lot of people, they drive to a field, and to be honest, it's pretty self-explanatory. It's literally the car boot. So whatever you want to sell, you sell from the boot of your car.
Trunk. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So kind of a mix between a yard sale and
the exact same thing.
Yeah. So I would say
so,
it's closer to swap meet for sure.
Yeah, definitely. So I go to a lot of those, and you can actually find some pretty decent stuff, to be fair. I went to one last weekend, and that's when I think I put a video up because somebody was selling a Master System, and they were only selling it for £10. And it came with 2 games as well. And I was like, oh my God, my heart was racing. I was going, oh my God, I need it. So that's a bit of a bargain.
No, that's a good price. What game did you get?
Right.
So it was Sonic 2 that came with it. And I want to say PGA Golf, I think it was.
Okay. Oh, cool. So golf and arguably the best Sonic game. Got it.
Yeah. So I was a bit chuffed with that. But yeah, so that's kind of like how it started. So, and yeah, pretty much any leisure money that I have, will just go on games, and I'm always on Facebook Marketplace as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm always on the lookout.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Now, what would you say is the bulk of your collection? From what I've seen on your channel, you definitely have, and this makes sense because it was your first console, kind of like Cat Icarus, I think. You have a lot of PlayStation 1 games. Looks like you got a lot of PlayStation 2 games. What would you say, like, what comprises in your collection?
Probably I want to say PS2 actually. Only because it's very common. I'm starting to find PS1 games are becoming more rare to find. I don't really see much of them around anymore. We have like game exchange shops and they rarely have any PS1 games. It always starts. You'll find the odd N64 game, but even shops like that, they will not even have NES or SNES. So it's kind of fading out here. But
kind of same here, to be honest. Let me ask you this then. You got into gaming when you were young, and you've only been collecting for about 6 years. What do you love most about gaming? Like, what do you get out of it personally?
To me, it's like an escape. Setting up my game room, which I'm yet to even show anybody, just because it is a little bit of a state. So I want it to be perfect before I do show anybody. But to me, whenever you play a game for the first time, if this makes sense, like takes you somewhere else. And it makes it's one of the only ways that I know how to relax, because it's like reading a book. If I'm reading a book, I am elsewhere. And that's what I really like, because if I really, really like a game, I'm into it, you know? And it kind of just takes you away. So it's my way of relaxing.
Great. We talked a little bit about this offline, but I thought it was an interesting story, and I wanted to kind of share it with our listeners. How did you start your TikTok channel? And second part of that question, do you have any future plans for it?
So I actually started it, so it's something that I've always really wanted to do. I've always wanted to make something with the games because I love them and they're just sat there and nobody really gets to see them. I actually caught COVID. I had to isolate for 14 days and I was like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? And I just thought, I'm just going to make a TikTok, I think. It's not going to go anywhere. I'm just going to make a TikTok of the games. And I think the first video I ever made, I think it was Pokemon Yellow, which was literally, I didn't even play the game either. I literally just did the intro of Pokemon Yellow. And it kind of like, I think it got like 10,000 views. And I was like, oh my gosh. And I was like to my brother, I was like, don't even look at me, I'm famous now. But and I had like 10 followers at the time and I was like, wow. Yeah, and then I just started making silly little videos, to be honest, and I never really expected it to go anywhere. And it kind of like got me through that horrible isolation period where I couldn't even leave my driveway. So that was great. And then more people started to follow me, and like as you said earlier on, people test me, people like to test me, and you were actually one of the people who tested me, to which you've actually been one of the only people that I've had to say, no, sorry, I don't have it.
I triumphed.
Which I
Not yet,
I
anyways.
hated.
Yeah.
Yeah, I should have replied, no, not yet.
Yeah, that's what I did. Somebody was like, do you have this? That actually happened to me recently, and I was like, not yet.
Oh, that would have been the perfect response. I should have come back with, no, not yet. That is like gold. The game that you asked for was Pepsi Man on PS1, and I'm going to be honest, I actually didn't know. I never heard of it before you actually asked for it, and I was like, Pepsi Man, as in like Pepsi. I gave it a Google and I went, he's got to be joking. Sadly, I don't have that one.
It looks good though, doesn't it? You kind of want it. You want to get an endless runner starring Pepsi Man, don't you?
I don't want it. I need it.
That's awesome. All right. I
need it.
Do you have any future plans for the channel at this point?
I mean, no, not really. The last couple of days, like, have been a bit crazy. Like, the last couple of days, over like 1,000 people have followed me, and like,
wow.
Yeah, honestly, it's crazy, and I get so many messages on there, and I've made some amazing friends on there as well.
Yeah.
Which is something that I've never had before. I've got friends, obviously, but none of them, especially being a female as well, none of them care for this. So it's so cool and so cool for me to actually have like a little community going on now. It's great. I'm not great with technology, but in an ideal world, let's say if I had someone who could like teach me, I would love to do a Twitch. I'd love to do a Twitch. I only do TikTok because I know how to do it. Mm-hmm. But yeah, who knows? I'll still go on and do the TikToks because I love it. But
well, you probably know quite a few Twitch streamers. I actually am one of them. So when you are ready
before.
when you're ready to take that leap, you know, lean on your new gaming community friends. You know, a lot of us would probably be eager to help you out or share what we've learned because it's not hard, but it's also not easy at times. Like there are pitfalls when it comes to streaming, and knowing those ahead of time will really kind of put you ahead. That said, I think if you started streaming, I think just like this channel, I think it would probably take off. Whatever it is, I think you got it. You know what I mean? Because it's true that your first video on TikTok, and I wish I had known this prior, actually does get pushed a little more than your other videos. TikTok tries to get people a running start, so to speak. So by comparison, our first video got like 1,000 views, which I was like, whoa, 1,000 views. But the fact that you got 10,000, that shows like, you know, you're in there. And then, like you said, the channel just keeps blowing up. How many followers do you have right now? Do you know?
I hit 9,000 yesterday, which I was a bit like, oh my gosh.
Amazing.
Because to me, it's never ever been about the followers. Like you just said there, like you only got 1,000. But if you put 1,000 people in a room, that's a lot of people.
It is.
Like a lot of people. And that's like 2,000 eyes. So that's, do you know what I mean? That's seen that video. So that's how I look at it. To me, it's never been about like how many people are following me, because I only ever did it because I had COVID, to be honest. And I never actually was going to continue with it once I was better from COVID. But I'm so glad I did. And I think it's because I started to make friends on there and talk to like some really cool people, especially Americans. I am honestly obsessed with America, just everything about America, American people, American accents, everything. So for me to get to speak to American people, I'm like, oh, living the dream.
Wow. Well, we're happy to be a part of that, and I'm so glad you continue the channel too. You're one of my favorite channels on TikTok.
Thank you.
Yeah,
that's
no,
so kind.
Thank you so much for agreeing to anyways. So if the folks out there are interested, they're liking what they're hearing about this really cool TikTok channel, where can they locate you at, Danny?
So I am on TikTok. Unfortunately, I don't have any other form of social media other than TikTok, and my is just DaniellesGames. Simple as that. I try to upload videos every day, but sometimes I don't. Great. People test me on there to see if I have games, and most of the time I do, but
you hear
sometimes
that, folks?
I don't.
You hear that, folks? If you think of a very obscure PS2 or PS1 game, Danny's saying she's got you. She's got that game. For sure. 100%. So test her on it. Check out her channel. Follow her. Give her some likes.